Hello and welcome to the Hindustan Times Leadership Studio. We're coming to you from the sidelines of the HT Leadership Summit 2022 in New Delhi, and I have the privilege to be joined by Mr. Vineet Jain, Chief Operating Officer of VMart. Vineet, thank you so much for joining us. Now, a big macro trend that I think all brick and mortar stores particularly saw during COVID was that footfall disappeared. And a lot of the consumption story then moved to online platforms, and that saw a tremendous increase. Talk to me about how you navigated that time and then came out of your learnings from COVID, recognized where you had opportunities to consolidate your presence, how you went about doing that. And then at this point on, when you've taken some of those opportunities, developed them into product propositions, how are you looking at the Indian consumer story?
So COVID was the unprecedented event for us, and none of the human beings seen this kind of disastrous kind of thing. But yes, there was a complete lockdown, shutdown. We have seen all kind of the things at that particular point of time. But when we look at the opportunity, yes, the brick mortar, we faced the problem because there was no footfall. Stores were largely closed because of the local guidelines and all. But one opportunity brings, like, we started our online business at that point in time. So what happened in the COVID, like what is supposed to be done in the next 5 to 7 years, we did it in the 2 years time. So obviously there was a lot of challenges, but yes, we learned a lot and started our own online platform. Then we listed on all the large marketplaces, be it Amazon or Flipkart or Myntra, whatever it is like. And then recently you heard the news that we acquired the LimeRoad also, which is like again the online platform. So things are going on in that direction. And one thing I can say, always the challenges, okay, bring a lot of opportunities. So that was a challenging time, and we actually encased it, and our purchase was not there in the south, okay, and we acquired the Unlimited from the Arvind Group, and that on the same day, like we got the 75 stores. That again the opportunity we got.
Right. And Vineet, now we have by and large emerged from that phase where people were not stepping out, right? During the festive season, particularly this one and the last even, we have seen that footfalls have improved dramatically. People do want to go out and shop. But for business at large, do you see that this is a trend that is here to endure, or the transition or the shift that we saw to e-commerce, particularly in the smaller tier 3, 4, 2 cities, do you think that will continue to be the larger consumption play?
So one thing I can say, generally people talk like online versus offline. Actually, it's like not the versus, it kind of the complementing each other. So both the avenues we are getting the customer, even the same customer, whether you and me, anybody, you will see we are doing some shopping on the online platform, some part of the shopping we are doing the offline. So both are actually complementing, and that's when I've told like the Omni is the way of life in the coming time. And yes, the festive time, especially in the tier 1 market in the metros, we have seen the very good traction of the footfall. And but yes, still the rural market where the unemployment rates are still on the higher side comparatively. Those are not in the line what we are thinking. So that will also come. There is no any doubt on that. But yes, the Omni is the future, and both the customer will come online, offline. Many customers you will see the offline shopping, sometime online customer, they are sometime doing the offline shopping also.
But would you say that footfalls by and large across your key markets are back to pre-COVID levels?
Not really. So it may take some time, but one thing dramatically changed is like whoever is coming, they are buying the ticket size, what we are calling in the retail parlance, their spending is very high comparatively.
Okay.
So example, like earlier the spending like per customer was say 1,000 rupees. Right now they are buying say 1,500 rupees. So that kind of jump we have seen and recently.
Now you touched upon the rural markets and the more semi-urban regions where you operate. There has been stress there, and we are seeing that play out across sectors, whether it's automotive, whether it's retail, as you pointed out. But now with the interest rate hikes and general inflation, there is food inflation, which of course is also a massive concern for this segment of customers. How do you see these factors coming together and impacting demand in the future?
See, luckily I can say we are in India, okay. when we are comparing ourselves with the global platform, we are far, far better and ahead of the curve in terms of the consumption, in terms of the even inflation also comparatively we have the lesser. When you are talking and comparing with the Europe or Europe market, the rate hike are comparatively low in India as of now. And obviously, whenever the inflations are there, the government will take some kind of the measures and all that will happen. But these are not the permanent in nature. So at the fundamental level, we should understand one thing very clearly. These are again the temporary phenomena, maybe last for the some quarter, 3-4 quarter. Again, things will come back to the original shape. And certainly one thing, the future is always like, I personally feel it's like a very bright thing in the India. And the growth story of India is like what we are talking. We are in 22 right now. And by 30, 32, I think the growth story will continue. There's no any doubt and debate.
So while everyone does bet on this long-term growth story, I want to, for a while also focus on the present and the stress there, which you did outline, right? The rural markets are not, unemployment rates there, the jobs they lost during COVID, perhaps not all of them have come back. So are you seeing an impact of that in the present, whether it's reduced footfall or customers spending lesser, wanting to save money?
Yeah. Whenever like inflation or any pressure will come, generally customers tend to move to their basic needs more, food and all. So luckily, still I can see the inflation in the food is not that high. And what we are even catering is the very basic need of the apparels, largely, and food also we are catering for the customers. So obviously denting the pocket of the customer, but yes, at the same time, the way we are getting the response, it's okay. There is no any problem as such much on the higher side. But
you don't see a change in the spending patterns because food is a category that you are into, and of course the prices there have gone up, especially for the rural customer. The budgets are a little bit more constrained. So do you see they've sort of started to spend less or perhaps come back more frequently because they are thinking of, they are in a sort of cash conservation mindset?
So generally, when you see the discretionary buying and all, generally things always move from the roti, kapda, and makan. So obviously you cannot compromise in the food part. And the second thing is the fashion, which is like the core category for us. That is also, I think, by and large, the customers are doing the shopping. The major impact, yes, obviously it's coming on the makan side. Makan means what I mean to say is like electronic category, then your furniture, the high ticket size product. So there the impact is there, and largely we are not catering those product lines.
Now let's also talk about the future. As far as VMart is concerned, what would your own growth trajectory be? You do have an online play now. You also have presence in some newer markets. Give me a brief overview of how that has played out over the last 2 years, and where do you see yourself going forward?
So when I'm talking the recent one again, the last quarter itself, like the growth was around 50% over the last year. So that's again the outstanding growth we are getting right now. And obviously the trend will continue because recently just we acquired the LimeRoad, the online platform also. That will also give us a lot of revenues in the coming future. And right now the presence is there pan India. Our almost like 27 states we are, 270 cities we are there right now. So obviously the scope is humongous again. Still the 1,000 cities are there in the India where the population is more than 50,000. So we can go there. When we are looking, yes, we are in 270 cities. We are in 27 states. But when we are looking the opportunities and the future growth, still the 1,000 cities are there where we are not there.
So do you think this presence would be sort of, fulfilled by brick and mortar stores, or would you address this through your online channels?
No, both will play a critical role. So again, I'm repeating the same thing that it's not the online versus offline. It's like both will complement each other. And obviously when we are comparing the offline volume is comparatively very, very high. So that will take the lead. But when we are talking the growth terms and all, so online will grow on the higher pace because the base is also low comparatively.
Right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and speaking to us.
Thank you. Thanks.